Hey, welcome back to Healing the Healers. I'm your host, Kaila, New York. Thanks for tuning in. I am sitting here playing with my yo-yo. Um, Today I want to get right into it. You know, I don't like the fluff. I don't like dead air, so we're gonna just get right into it. And I'm doing clearing for a client that I love very much, and I was thinking about it, and I was talking to my spirits and stuff, and I was just like, okay, let's see what happens. You know, with the clearing. Um, the beauty about being an emotional code clearer or practitioner is that I don't have to be in the room with you. I can be in my house, you be in your house, you can be in a completely different country, and I can clear whatever needs to be cleared. I don't physically need to be with you. So I always thought that that was like the biggest selling point for me, because it's just like when you got to wait for people, there are a couple of things that you do have to remember. Um, when you come to someone like me, you have to be in alignment with me. That's why it's one, first, it's you're supposed to get permission. You can't just clear stuff from people without really getting their permission. Um, and you have to be in alignment. Getting permission is not just, oh, don't, because a lot of people be like, well, I meant well. I didn't want to hurt them. I really saw that they were hurting and I needed to heal them. I understand that. I completely understand that. I've been there. But what I learned is when you do that, they're not in the alignment that you need them to be in to receive that clearing. It may clear, but it's going to come back. It's probably going to come back because they're not in the headspace, or they don't even know that that's what's happening, right? They know something's happening, but they don't know what's happening. Now, this particular client was having issues with his hearing. So I was just like, okay. So we went in, we did a extensive chart of the ear, and we went in and we cleared every part of the ear that was having an issue. Now, the part that has me going, okay, let's see what happens, is because I can't clear your lifestyle. Does that make sense? I can't clear what you expose yourself to. So it's like you, most of the trapped emotion and heart walls and curses and all this other stuff people get, especially empaths, because he's definitely an empath. He's like a super empath. Um, Especially my empath, you get it from other people. You don't. It doesn't come with you. So what happens is you get it from other people, and it gets stuck on you. So, say for instance, there's this friend that you keep talking to, and every time you talk to that person, your legs swell. Every time you talk to that person, your body hurts. You're just like, yo, I'm exhausted, because that person, whatever's on that person, keeps getting on you. Now, unfortunately, what usually needs to happen for me, because I'm an empath, I identify as an empath because I like, there's no other way to explain it. But I limit my exposure to that person. Kind of like working with anthrax. You got to get yourself prepared before you go in and work with that person or talk with that person. And you have to limit your exposure to that person, because if you don't, it's going to come back. That's what people are like, oh, I thought you cleared it. Yeah, I did clear it. But if you go right back to where I told you not to go, it's going to get on you again, and you're going to have the same issue again. And you're going to be wondering why you have that issue. You have that issue because you keep going back to what's causing the problem. You understand? Like, say for instance, I'm not saying I have a client like this, but say for instance, a client that's being um, verbally abused, right? A client that's being verbally abused. For me, a client that's being verbally abused, you're going to have problems with your throat. You're going to have problems with your throat. You're going to have problems with your thyroid. You're going to have problems with anything here, because it's going to get trapped emotion in here because you can't say anything. You don't say anything. You don't defend yourself. You don't, and it's like your body feels like it's betraying itself because it's not protecting itself. So what happens is that trapped emotion gets stuck here, and you need someone like me to clear it out. But if I clear this, when I clear this, when I clear it, when I go in there and I find out what's going on in your throat and I clear it, and you go back to the same situation, it's going to happen again. And you're going to be like, oh, her clearance ain't shit. That's not true. It did clear, but you went right back to the same situation. And then you going right back to the same situation, it's not helping you because it's going to come back. It's Don't think that just because something's cleared, it can't come back. It will come back. And my foundation is Catholicism and Christianity. So it's kind of like in the Bible where it says when you get rid of the demons and you clear the house, they come back with more demons to see if you're still holding that boundary. Now, if you don't have it filled with something else, it's going to come back. It's going to come back in. When I say filled with something else, I mean like if you don't have it filled with boundaries, filled with I will not, filled with that is enough, filled with not today. You understand? If you don't have your thing filled with anything else that's positive, that is going to make your body feel like it's safe. It's gonna hold on to shit. You understand? It's gonna hold on to stuff and it's gonna mess up your throat. When I was younger, I used to have really bad tonsil problems. My tonsils would swell to the point where it was like my throat was going to close up because it was so swollen. And I would have to take amoxicillin to get it down. I was like popping amoxicillin when I was a kid. It's probably why I was so goddamn healthy. I was popping amoxicillin like crazy when I was a kid because of my throat. And once I started to stand up for myself and not allow people to talk to me in the way they felt like, when my face started to be like, I'm not the one, and all that other stuff, that stopped. It did. It just stopped. I stopped having throat issues. I stopped having issues with my throat. I stopped having issues with my chest. When you cannot speak your truth, this section here, I don't know what I'm still learning the parts of the body, but like this whole section from the top of your throat right underneath if you're watching, great. If you're listening via Spotify to this video, I'm sorry. Where I have my hands is at the top of my throat, where your jaw meets your throat. It's going to be right underneath there, and it goes all the way down to the middle of your chest, where I call the heart center. And it's sometimes even lower in your solar plexus. That whole section right there is screaming to tell someone off. You understand? I'm not saying to go around telling people off. That's not, be like, yeah, that pretty lady on the podcast network, she told me to tell people off. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you cannot keep betraying your truth and betraying yourself and putting yourself last and not speaking how you feel and expect your whole system not to respond. It's going to respond because it's going to clench, it's going to squeeze, it's going to constrict because you're not speaking. And the more you speak, the more it will loosen. Granted, when you first start speaking, it's going to tighten up even more because it's going to be scared because it's a muscle that has not been used. It's like not going to the gym for a while. The muscles that you start using again, they're going to constrict first before they kind of get into motion and into the flow of things, right? So in this video, I want you to understand, yes, emotion code clearing is real. Yes, I clear it. I clear it on myself. I clear it on my children. I clear it on my friends. I cleared on clients, so it is real. However, your lifestyle is what determines if it's going to stay clear or if it's going to come back. Like I said, if you go back to what was already causing the issue and you're still in that situation and you don't have any boundaries, you don't have anything to stop it from happening the way it's been happening, or the way you respond to how it's happening, it's going to come back. It's going to come back. All the clearing that I did in this client's ear, if he is a super empath, and what I've seen happen with him is he'll be like, "Hey, good morning, how are you?" And people just do. I was sitting there looking at him one day, and he all he said to the person was, "How are you?" and and it wasn't like, "How are you?" like, tell me your life story. It was like, "How are you? I see you. Good to see you." Right? That's not how that person took it. That person told him, this person died, that person died, the dog is sick. I was sitting there like, wow, because he told me that would happen to him, and I believed him because I'm an empath, and that happens to me too. That's one of the reasons why I stopped saying how are you and just go hi. I'm like, hey, hi, and I walk, because if you ask people how they are, they're going to tell you. And a lot of times they don't tell you, "Oh, I'm living my best life, girl. I'm doing it. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to tell you what's going wrong. And like I said, this is for my healers. They're going to tell you what's going wrong because that's the aura that you carry. You understand? Unfortunately, because I hear someone out there, why does it happen to me? It happens to you because that's what you carry with you. Kind of like being a therapist. I never went to school for it, but the school of hard knocks and life has taught me, and I've been doing it since I was a kid, how to counsel people, because I've been through more than enough stuff to explain to people how to get out of it. Plus, I'm an assistant by trade. So it's like, I can tell me what the problem is, and I can tell you what the solution should be. So, that being said, anytime I go somewhere, for a while, I didn't understand what was happening. And I would go somewhere and I would sit down and people would just tell me their problems. I would be sitting there going, what is happening right now? Everybody would just tell me their problems. They would just dump it on me. And I would just, but the thing for me is, if you tell me your problems, I'm going to give you tools and solutions to get through it. So that's what I would do. And I would be like, well, did you ever think about this? Or maybe you should look into that, or maybe you should do this. And this is what I did when I was in the situation, and I would break it down for them in, like, because I'm also a teacher. So I would break it down to them in digestible parts that they can actually do, because I don't like doing shit either. Don't think that I'm just running around and I love to do work. I really don't. I have to break things up into bite-sized pieces in order to do it, and but people would just keep coming to me, and I didn't know what was happening in the beginning because I didn't realize or accept my calling and who I was. People see your calling before you do. So that answers your, hopefully that will answer your question. People see your calling before you do. So you could be like, I don't understand why everybody's always telling me their problems. They're telling you their problems because you're a healer. And you being that healer, you're going to attract sick people. At one point, I thought, like, no lie, at one point, I thought I was making people sick. I really did. I 100% did. Kiss you, Grant, and I really did believe that I was making people sick, because I was just like, there's no possible way that all these sick people, like, are just popping up, like, around me, until I got higher in the spirit and in my practices, and I realized, no, yeah, you're not creating them, you're attracting them. And I was just like, what do you mean? And I would sit down in meditation and I was like, what do you mean I'm attracting them? They're like, you're a healer, so people are going to flock to who's a healer. They were like, do you think only healthy people came to Jesus? Healthy people didn't come to Jesus. Sick people came to Jesus because they knew that they could get what they needed. And then the way they broke it down to me with the higher realms is their higher selves know who you are. So they're going to send them to you. Does that make sense to you? For those who understand, their higher selves or their spirit team, their guides, their ancestors, or whatever, they're going to be like, we need you to go see that person right there because she has the answers for you, or he has the answers for you that you're looking for. Because you guys, and when I say you guys, I mean the entire world, is constantly asking for things. You're constantly asking for things. If you're not feeling well, you're asking to feel better. If you don't have the right demeanor for something, you're asking for that. You're asking how to do this, how to do that. So there's a person on this planet, there's a couple of us that have what you need, and your spirits are trying and working their best. Your spirit team, your SGS squad, is moving you towards that person. It may not be me. I'm not the only one. Thank God, because I couldn't handle it. I could barely handle sometimes the people that I'm called to. But everybody's assigned to a specific person. You understand? So they're going to push you towards the person that you're assigned to. And in doing that, you have to be in alignment with that person. Because if you're not in alignment with that person, no matter what that person does for you, it's not going to work as effectively and as quickly if you are in alignment. If you're in alignment with the person, again, Catholicism, Christianity is my foundation. So when two or more gathered, boom, shit happens. You understand? That's how I interpret that scripture. Shit happens. Things move. Things get healed. Things get cleared. So that's why it's important for practitioners like myself to get permission, to get, okay, fine. And I tell people all the time, you don't have to believe that I can do it. You don't have to believe that it's real for it to work, but it makes it move faster. It makes it move 100% faster. If you're just like, I'm just going to believe everything that this girl tells me because she's never hurt me before and never burned me before, so I'm just going to believe her. And it will move, trust me, it will move so much faster if you just go, okay, what are we doing? And you just go with it. All right? So I know this helped. I love you guys. Stay up, stay blessed. Deuces. We out. Click it. Oh shit, where's the button?